sometimes you hear a great song and you get in the studio and it just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. But this song, from the first listen to the demo to sitting down and learning it on guitar and playing it around the house, it just got better and better and better every step along the way. To getting into the studio and recording it, to finally sitting down at the mixing board and mixing it, and Byron and I were mixing the song, and we sort of looked at each other when we finally got the mix done and looked at each other and thought, this kind of raises its hand to be the first single because it makes a statement for what the whole album sort of is about in a lot of ways.
I wanna live a life like a dollar and the clock on the wall don't own me.
Country music superstar Tim McGraw just released his anticipated 17th studio album, Standing Room Only. It features a song he co-wrote about the emotions of helping one of his daughters move to LA from Nashville.
So I'll meet you in Nashville, California, really Tennessee.
But what was your daughter's reaction to hearing that song, and even Faith's reaction to hearing that?
Well, they loved it. You know, I don't know that Gracie's even heard the whole story about where that song came from yet. I'm gonna have to make sure she hears that. I want to tell her. But yeah, it was pretty emotional. And you know, Bob Minner, who's played acoustic guitar for me for 32 years. I mean, since back when I was playing Skull's Rainbow Room on Printer's Alley in Nashville. And so I dropped my daughter off in LA. We did a road trip together. It was very emotional. And driving back, I called Bob, and you know, he's been with me for so long, and he's got grown kids and even grandkids now. And we were talking about how life changes and the things that you go through with your kids. And that's where that song was born.
There's also some moments through the album where there's guitar shredding, and I want to know, what song are you absolutely slaying at home when you're noodling around on the guitar?
Well, I don't slay anything on the guitar. Let's be clear. I mean, I can play enough to write songs on, and that's about it. You know, when I started playing guitar in college, the main reason I stuck with it is because it worked better than a baseball bat with the ladies, because I was playing baseball a little bit, so the guitar worked really well. But and then as soon as I could find somebody that played better than me and afford to pay them, I didn't play that much anymore, which didn't take long for somebody to find somebody that played better than I do. But yeah, I mean, standing room only, I sit around and play quite a bit, but usually I sit around and play Keith Whitley and George Strait and Vern Gosdin and stuff like that if I'm sitting around playing guitar.
With the album, McGraw also announced a world tour of the same name that will be making a stop in Canada in 2024.
I love playing Canada. I mean, Canada's been good to me throughout my entire career. In fact, when I just had barely, I think Welcome to the Club was out, which was my first album. That was my only top 40 record, and I think it only went to like 38 or something like that. And I told my agent at the time, I said, just book me in Canada when it's the coldest time of year. And my philosophy was that, you know, it's so cold, everybody's sort of in their house so much that if you show up, they'll go see anybody just to get out of the house. And so we played a bunch of hockey arenas, and sure enough, we were packing them in, and we didn't have a hit record. And I think from that point on, every time we come to Canada and play, people showed up. And they've always been great to me. In fact, Humble and Kind went #1 in Canada before it went #1 in the United States.
I got the rap, so I'm going to quickly rapid fire these questions without getting yelled at by the people behind the screen. Have you ever thought about doing a covers album like Eagles? Because I really want you to do I Can't Tell You Why studio version.
I have. I've thought about doing a covers album, and I think I will do one of these days. Yeah, I think I will. I mean, I love doing covers. I mean, throughout my career, I've had a few covers on albums. Suspicions was one, which is an Old Eddie Rabbit song, which I loved. And Tiny Dancer, of course, we covered. And we covered Cars, Drive. So I love doing covers. And so hopefully one, and if anybody's ever seen any of our backstage stuff when we're jamming in the dressing room, we do covers all the time. So I think that'll eventually happen.
Okay. Have you ever thought about bringing back your 90s Sideburns?
No.
What?
No. No.
In
fact, I can't even, this is so embarrassing. When you start getting older and the color changes, and then it doesn't change evenly. So you get grays and blacks and everything, and you try to even everything out, and you just can't ever get anything even. So I've just decided to keep it low profile until it all goes completely gray. Which the beard is completely gray now, until everything goes completely gray. But the sideburns, it wouldn't be attractive. No.
you may not find this as funny, but sometimes throughout the years, there have been some crazy headlines surrounding you and Faith. We'll not get into them
Oh
now
my
because it's
gosh,
clickbait,
yes.
like whatever.
We've been getting divorced for
27
years.
Yeah. How many times have you been approached to do a reality show?
A couple, but that would never happen. Not in a million years. We're too private for that. Yeah.
For City News, I'm Lindsay Dunn.